watching Nigeria decides, and elections have started on a rather explosive note, literally, with multiple explosions in Maiduguri. Earlier on, we spoke with our correspondent in Maiduguri, and he confirmed this. Maiduguri is considered, as we speak, a flashpoint, but nobody, absolutely nobody, anticipated this kind of situation. We have Najib Bello and Dr. Tui here in the studio to analyze this.
Yes, good morning, gentlemen. Now, finally, we are having the elections holding, but as Marianne rightly said, literally, it's an explosive one in Borno State. We heard bombings yesterday, and I said this morning from 5:50 to 6 a.m., we also had our correspondent in Borno State filling us in with as much information, saying that they had 7 explosions, and the residents there are in a panic mood. What do you make of this story, since we had assurances from our security operatives that we were going to have security tight?
Thank you, David. It was not unexpected. It's not that I don't expect this kind of thing to happen in Borno and those flashpoints. Why am I saying this? Well, we know the challenges we've been facing in Borno, the Konduga, Bama, and all those axes all the while. It's not just going to go away. If you then now mix politics with it, you understand that it's not unexpected that this kind of thing is going to happen. But to what extent can this affect the outcome of the election? To what extent can this affect the participation of the people in that area? First and foremost, I know that they're quite used to this kind of experiences year in, year out, of bombs going off, of threats and all those things. And I'm sure that even at the level of the military and the security people, they will have stepped up different ways of mitigating and reducing such, the fear in a way that the people can go out and reasonably and exercise their franchise and their voting rights. So in a way, it happened, but I'm still hopeful that it will not seriously deter the people from going out to vote.
The issue of the security stepping up its, acts, we hear that a governor's convoy was attacked. And I was just showing David on Twitter where some international correspondents were saying that the chief of army staff, or the army chief in that state, had warned the governor not to go out, but he insisted because he wanted to go and do his last lap of campaignings, which actually ended up in an explosion where people were killed, some necks slashed. So again, it makes me really wonder, if the security operatives are doing this much and the people are not adhering to, these directives by security operatives, are we not opening ourselves up to more of these attacks?
And adding to what Marianne just said, because looking at the figure 60, that's a large chunk of people dead so far. And we have about 100 to 200 already taken captive by the Boko Haram.
It's unfortunate today starting this way with the explosions. But then we have to look at what happened, like you said, with the governor not listening to advice. He was going to campaign in, I think he was going to Gamboru, and he was told not to go because of, at the time of it, the time he was moving, and also the lack of clarity of what was happening there. But he chose to go, and his convoy was attacked. A lot of people were killed. I think 60 is a very conservative number. People are putting as much as 100 killed and more than 100 captured. I think we have to take security very seriously. After these explosions happened, there were pictures of helicopters carrying out surveillance in the area, but I don't know how long that had been going on. And since we had explosions from yesterday evening, I would have thought more would have been done. This morning, I think we heard of suicide explosions. Exactly. And we heard that some RPGs, they fired some of those RPGs into. So it's not as if Boko Haram is really invading or has the capacity to invade Borno from what we've seen so far. They are attacking from the outskirts or sending in suicide, but it's still that bad. However, I think in terms of them invading or coming into the city to fight, it would not be possible. So I think the security agents have that on hand, but then people are going to be very afraid. At the end of the day,
they still have gotten what they wanted,
they've
shaken
achieved,
up the polity.
So people are going to be afraid of coming out to vote today in Borno, and there are rumors of an attack in Yobe, but we've not gotten details of that
But
yet.
it isn't so difficult. It isn't rocket science. Our army is well equipped with intelligence when it comes to identifying some of these explosive devices and even the trend that the Boko Haram uses. So if you initially released a statement that you have upped your ante and you're not going to give out sensitive information because you don't want it to be counted by the Boko Haram insurgents, and we're waking up to this sort of information, that's pretty much not utilizing the intelligence we have, don't you think?
Honestly, let's face it. This is an asymmetrical warfare. It's not a conventional warfare that we see, and we can then do a lot of predictive accuracy.
But we know the trend.
Yes. Now, and secondly, you know that in a day like this, we're going to spread the military all over the country. Okay, it's not like before this war, we just have a few points we need to focus on, and then we can then mobilize maximally the human resources in terms of security to do work on ground. You know, so the fact that we're having election all around the country, and then now Borno is a big problem. The number of security people that you can bring to Borno will be limited. And then secondly, like you said, it is important that this our big manism that, oh, I'm beyond this, I'm beyond that, needs to be stopped. In fact, if I were to be the head of the military, that I will forcefully enforce my order and say that, listen, you can't, I won't allow you to go out and then mess up my own plan. I will enforce that. But we've seen so many of these politicians grown beyond, in their own estimate, the security, grown beyond the country, grown beyond law and order. So, and then they compromise quite a lot of people by disobeying critical order that they should have been the person showing the way to follow. So now we must set this standard and say that, listen, as far as security is concerned, once you are told that you can't do this, please, you can't do it. If it means me enforcing such order, I will enforce it and prevent you from
to save your life. Let's go back again to the issue of security officers not being enough for the Northeast. I'm thinking the police is constitutionally empowered to be in charge of elections in Nigeria, and if we know that we have it hot in the Northeast, why not have a larger concentration of these soldiers in those areas, because they've been stretched thin already as we speak. So why don't we have a larger concentration, because we do not have a war situation or a guerrilla situation in the north, the southwest or the south-south. Yes, you might have a little pockets of violence in the south-south, but we need more of these soldiers in the northeast. Why did we not think of this until this happened, Najib?
Yes,
this should have been a better idea.
I'm glad that Nigerians are worried about soldiers patrolling cities these days. In Bayelsa, there was an attack. The army produced a press release saying, oh, they were attacked by some people while going around routine patrol. And people came on their page where they released that statement and said, it's wrong. What routine patrol are soldiers doing around the city of Yenagoa? Why are you not in Borno? So I can't tell why the army has chosen to spread itself thin when there is a sort of a war situation over there in Borno, which they should have been tackling better and let the police handle most of these areas where there is no war. I can't think of why they chose that strategy. But in terms of what David had said earlier, that we knew the trend. Unfortunately, firing RPGs into the cities was not the trend. We knew about suicide bombers and we knew about them ramming in explosive-laden vehicles.
But you anticipate the different means.
Exactly.
We're supposed to be at least 10 steps ahead of them.
They know how the army is going to react, so they devise new means.
Exactly. So, but I'm just saying that it wasn't the trend. So it's difficult for them to prepare. And of course, you know the situation where the military will present a report and a governor or someone else will say, you know what, thank you very much, but this is what we are going to do. It's unfortunate, and we can see how it has resulted in this.
And we know that Borno State also has over 2 million, about 2 million voters there. So that is also one of the strongholds of the APC, and you don't necessarily know how that would affect how they would perform. Because if this level of insecurity continues all throughout the morning till the wee hours of the election, then what's next?
Yeah, definitely. I think it will reduce the participation of people in these elections. Just in Lagos here, last Saturday when I was coming to the studio, I know how little traffic I saw on the road. There was virtually nobody on the road. But today there are people who I can't lose last Saturday and not do anything. So there are more people on the road. So I think more people are saying, I won't be participating in this. So think of that added to the fact that there is this insecurity right now. I think a lot of people... Would you
encourage the voters to still come out en masse despite this security challenge? Our correspondent in Borno said, well, we have some roadblocks and we have some security operatives there, but would you advise that they should still go ahead and ensure that they participate in this dispensation?
If you were in their shoes.
Again, I will encourage them. Listen, first and foremost, this is why I'm going to encourage them. The Borno people, they're not new to this kind of attack and the noises and all what happens, okay? Now, also, this election is quite very close to call. You don't even know who is having the upper hand until the results are being released. It's going to affect both the two dominant parties nearly equally, whether you're APC or PDP, you understand? So, apart from the security telling the people to encourage them to come out and showing, clear sign that, even if you come to vote, you are going to be safe. I'm sure they're going to add, there will be going to be add-on security features to help those people, cast their vote. The political parties should also encourage their supporters to come out and vote, because we must be able to see that encouragement coming from every front. The traditional ruler must be able to do that. The clerics must be able to talk that, please go and cast your vote.
But there are people who would say, well, the governor with all of his security wasn't safe when he went out to do a common campaign.
No, because he didn't.
Why should I put my life on the line because I want to cast my vote? I'm just saying,
because he didn't follow a security report and advice. So in this wise, okay, yes, what we're saying is this kind, because the purpose of this explosion and the timing is to overawe the people and discourage them from voting. We know the purpose, obviously. We cannot, we're not then, cow in. We cannot collapse because of those kind of threats. We should be able to confront this kind of danger in a way by, the synergy between the traditional ruler, the political party, the security operatives, and the people themselves resolve to cast their vote. Because if they don't cast their vote, the next 4 years, they'll have to stay with whatever situation they find themselves.
We've not had any official statement from the National Emergency Management Agency. We've not had any official statement from the police, the army, not even the government. So now, at this point in time, are you expecting that we'll see a change in strategy of the security operatives in addressing the situation, nipping it in the bud and ensuring that people come out and vote? Or you think we will just have this situation continue?
I think already, after the explosions, I saw videos of helicopters, flying over Maiduguri. I think they have to change strategy and do things differently, a lot of air surveillance. But then with the Boko Haram, they had overnight to plan. I believe they've done their worst. It's not as if they will definitely stop, but I think this is the best that they could have done. So I'm not looking at anything worse coming. But then the army has to step up its game. As for advising people to come out, I'm someone that human life is very dear to me, so I feel people should come out if they are convinced that they have to come out. I won't tell people because I'm not very sure what will happen. But then the army, the government has to do more to protect lives, especially in that Borno, Yobe, and other flashpoints.
Understanding as well the culture of silence and the excuse that they say, well, it is just to ensure that people don't fret.
Yes.
Do you think it is safer now that the army or the police or whatever relevant agency does not release any figures as of now, just to ensure that everybody keeps calm? Because at the end of the day, when people hear 60, 10, 5 have died, it puts them on the edge.
Again, because that is going to, elevate or raise the temperature of the fear. Of course, the kind of fear tactics. If at this point now, the critical point, few minutes to the election, you are saying that there's a bomb. Of course, we know that bomb, series of bomb blasts, and we are now saying that 500 people died. Of course, everybody will stay in the house. So it's proper. for you to manage that information in such a way that you don't further, increase the fear threshold among the people. So, well, we'll deal with that as the election I'm sure they'll do that as the election progresses, and then see a way of managing the casualty figure and giving the information out. But it won't be appropriate, for me to increase the fear threshold at this critical point in time.
Well, we are live across the 36 states of the Federation as well as the FCT. Please make sure that you send us as much as possible all the feeds I can get from Borno State. If you are there and across the country, please let us know what's going on. Let us feel your pulse, and we'll also fill you in on all of the details that are coming through. Please remember to be safe, especially if you're around Borno State and other flashpoint areas. It's time to take a quick break. The conversation continues in just a moment. We've had Tuime Bawadu in the studio. Thank you very much for your contribution.
My pleasure.
And we've also had Najib Bello. It's been insightful having you. And hopefully you also go and cast your vote as well. It's past 8 o'clock.